All right, everybody, welcome back to our Ask Me Anything series in the Learn Workplace Climate Action community here on Work on Climate. That's a lot of words shoved into one intro. But we're continuing this week with stakeholder engagement because the real opportunity for businesses and by extension for employees to take climate action at work is to look far beyond the direct operational impacts of what that individual company is doing. So we've already talked about the role of business in climate and addressing climate change, and we've talked about employees as a stakeholder. But today we're going to talk to a good friend of mine, Kevin Houldsworth, about the importance of engaging customers, because this is one of the largest ecosystems that companies have at their disposal in order to kind of push sustainability out into the world. So, Kevin, could you please introduce yourself for everybody?
So my name is Kevin Houldsworth. I work at Pinterest here in Chicago, and I am a global lead client partner. And basically that means that I manage the relationships between Pinterest and a couple of different advertising partners who run campaigns on our platform. I also am one of the co-leads of Pin Planet, which is our climate and sustainability green team.
Excellent. Yes. Okay, so you work directly with customers. You're obviously very interested and passionate about sustainability. So, why is customer engagement important for workplace climate action?
Yeah, so I think it's important for everyone to remember that most companies have some sort of an initiative to make themselves more efficient, hopefully greener, and just be better for the planet. And oftentimes those are stated in their annual reports, in their 10Ks, in the reporting that they need to do as a public-facing company, or a private company. So starting from the standpoint of just really understanding what these companies are looking to do themselves and like understanding the role that they want to play in making the world a better place is really helpful because it gives you one more touch point, one more way to potentially collaborate. So starting from that standpoint, what I have found, especially working with a lot of my companies, it opens up new ways to service their account, their business. And just by understanding their philanthropic initiatives, it just makes you understand them more holistically and able to service the account better.
So, is it fair to say that engaging customers in climate work helps extend the influence and the impact of what you, as your own company, does?
Yeah, I completely agree with that sentiment. I would describe them as sort of one plus one equals three type of scenarios. If we are a media platform, our ability, we have an ability to reach billions or millions of people through the lens of inspiration. Well, if we have a partner that maybe has a new product that's a sustainable brand, or maybe they have some sort of an initiative, maybe it's even something that their employees are doing. If we can find ways to partner to create synergistic, ways of working with them and just making our relationship better. In some cases, there's an immediate business impact, and in some cases, it's just a way for us to bond, to work more closely, and to foster stronger relationships.
That's
So there's
awesome.
a lot of different ways that you can dimensionalize climate with our partners.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's nice to know that it's not just about sustainability, but that it can also deepen the relationships between you and your customers. And obviously, that's great for business. So, can you tell us a little bit more about the role that customers can actually play in advancing sustainability? And if you can, give an example from the work that you've done directly, because I know you have a lot of experience with this.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of it depends on the footprint and the audience of the partner that you're talking about. But if you think of a lot of the folks that we work with here at Pinterest, and then is any brand that can be bought, any product, if there's some sort of a sustainable solution that they're going out into the market with, and they want to understand how to reach that consumer or that service, that's a really great way for us to help them do that, help them succeed. For Pinterest, one of the things that we see, what's trending, what are some of the sustainable trends that maybe they can tap into to accelerate whatever initiative or product it is that they're trying to bring to market. One example of the ways that we've done that is with Pin Planet. We've created galleries of who are the brands that are making really amazing climate-friendly products for the home, let's say. And so how can we create a forum for them? So we've curated boards, we've added them to our own profile, which has a lot of followers. So we can organically give them a presence that they wouldn't ordinarily have.
Cool.
So it's really just depends on what is the leverage that you have, what is the way that you can accentuate something that they're doing so that you're rewarding that behavior and helping them succeed.
Yeah, really cool. And this reminds me a lot of some of what I saw in my time at Microsoft, where through supplier contracts, right? Microsoft started to say, as it got more serious about its climate commitments, if you want to get our business, continue to get our business for suppliers, then you're going to have to start measuring your greenhouse gas emissions and disclosing that because there are scope 3 emissions. And so there's a lot of really interesting work that companies can be doing to help each other along on this journey, right? So I wonder if you can talk just sort of broadly about the role that employees can play in engaging customers on sustainability. Obviously, if you work directly in sales, that gives you a unique opportunity to do that. But what about for all of those folks who are listening and watching and thinking, well, I don't work in sales, this doesn't relate to me? What would you say?
Well, the first thing I would say is that yes, I am the main point of contact for the relationship that we have with my partners, but I am by no means the only person. And so, as an example, my team is comprised of people who work in measurement and people who work in insights and creative strategy and people who are behind the scenes who help amplify the work that I'm doing with this partners. So one example that I would say right off the bat is, so say you work in a creative capacity. Well, maybe you can help to spearhead, what is our point of view on greenwashing? Or as a creative, can our creative team get together and say, we're going to help when we do mocks or we come up with campaign ideas, how can we embed sustainability into the messages that we're putting out? If you work in an insights role, maybe there's something that they can do of like can they create like a quarterly report on things that are happening in the insight space that then I, as a sales lead, can say like, okay, this is really helpful. Like I can now provide an additional touch point to my partner. So everyone can contribute in some fashion. I like to say that everyone has some sort of a superpower that, whether they have a really analytical mind or maybe they have a really creative mind, or just good with people. But everyone has some sort of like, I can't do this on my own. And I will say, just friendly plug for green teams, because that's exactly like green teams are a laboratory for how
Yes.
people can like what is their superpower? What is the impact that they want to drive? And that's one of my favorite things of working on a green team is unexpected collaboration that creates those 1 + 1 = 3 scenarios.
Yeah, for sure. That reminded me of something I saw a lot at Microsoft in the early days of its sustainability commitments. There's lots of fanfare, lots of interest. And so all kinds of customers were coming to Microsoft and saying, oh my God, you're going to be carbon negative, water positive, zero waste. What does that mean? How do we do that? And the salespeople were often the first people to get those questions. And at that point, when the company was a little bit younger, greener in its journey, there wasn't a lot of knowledge about sustainability in the sales roles. And so that was an extremely valuable role for both the green team and for those employees who are knowledgeable about sustainability, but maybe don't have direct interaction with customers to educate and upskill the salespeople so that they could speak confidently about what those commitments mean and how it relates to a customer. So really just putting a bow on it that even if you don't directly interface with customers, you can be helping your colleagues who do get up to speed, have the baseline of climate literacy, help them understand the benefits of why partnering with customers on sustainability is a win-win-win, I guess. You love the 1 + 1 + 3. So
100%.
yeah, for sure. Okay, so
100%.
wow, just about to close it out then. So anything else that you would like to say to folks thinking about the importance of engaging customers for sustainability before we go?
I, yeah, I think that was something that you mentioned that I would emphasize is to remember that sustainability shows up in so many different
Mhm.
spaces. It's the buildings that we work in, it's the power that we use every day to power our computers or our lights or whatever. It's water, it's food. It shows up in so many different ways. And I think that if people think of the systems that they work within and all of the partners and customers that we work with, customers doesn't have to be like a sales that type of a customer relationship. It can,
Mhm.
but we work with a lot of different people outside of our company. Any of them can be a customer, and any of them can be an opportunity for us to move sustainability forward.
For sure. All right. Thank you so much, Kevin. And we look forward to seeing you in the channel where we will be able to ask questions to you directly about this.
Yeah, likewise.
Okay. Cheers.